From the John DeVito Broadcast Center, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Paranormal Radio with Bob Tricek on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. So sit back and enjoy Paranormal Radio. And now, here he is, the number one king of Paranormal Radio, Mr. Bob Tricek.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. It's always a joy coming back here to do these shows once a month like this. Thank you very much. Also, thank you very much, John, for allowing me to do the show tonight. I know this may have not been the best of nights for you because tomorrow, Mr. John DeVita here is actually going to go in for some surgery tomorrow early morning. He's got to go have some knee replacement surgery done. So he'll be pretty occupied with that. So we're going to just play it by ear for December, John. We're going to see how things go with you, how you're feeling. And if we don't do a December show, we just won't do a December show. Everyone have a wonderful holiday. And we'll be back on in January or however long it takes, January or February, whenever you feel up to it, then we'll do the shows again. But if we can do it in December, we'll do it. But thank you very much.
I think I'll be okay to do the show in December, Bob.
All right, yeah. Like I said, we'll just play it by ear. I'll call you. I'll let you know when I have the guests lined up for it and that. I've got a few people in mind already for that, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, thank you very much. November 11th, Veterans Day today. Thank you to all our veterans, all our men and women that serve so very valiantly in this country to make this country what it is, and we all sleep a little easier knowing that they're the sacrifice they've made for us and continue to make for us, and thank you all to our vets. Veterans Day today, honoring them. Although today, I don't know, with the weather we've been having here in Chicago, it feels more like December 11th more than it does November 11th. It's like we missed autumn. I think Halloween came, and right after Halloween, we went right into December. We've missed the whole Thanksgiving season. Yeah, it got very wintry real soon, so just kind of enjoy it. Stay safe, be careful, don't slip on the ice, and everything will be fine. We've all been through winters before in Chicago. We know how that goes. Let's see, what do I have coming up here? Oh, thank you first to the people at Midnight Terror for the whole Halloween season was just a great season for me. I did a lot of stuff. I was very busy for the month of October, a lot of things there, and some tours I did with the park districts I ran. I did some talks at the different libraries and different places, some private parties and stuff, so it was a very busy season. So I'm very grateful for that. That was very nice. Also, a big shout out and thank you to Kylie O'Connell over at the Bridgeview Park District. I've got a couple of more bookings with her coming up for the month of December. Not exactly what you would call a paranormal month, but we are going to do one there on Mr. H.H. Holmes, and that will be coming up on December 4th. On December 3rd, I'm going to be back at the Orland Park Library, but I'm not doing anything paranormal for that one. I'm taking a little break from paranormal, which from time to time I do. I'm going to be talking all about domestic service with a program called You Rang, Sir. I'm going to cover English domestic service and American domestic service and some the way the White House is run with domestics and stuff like that. So kind of an interesting program, something I thought was kind of interesting to research and be doing that. And then Midnight Terror, a big shout out and thank you to them. I did my palm readings there again with them on the weekends with Midnight Terror, and they're always very nice to me over there. Thank you to Mr. Justin Cherniak. He does a real good show over there. They work very hard, all the cast members in there and everybody that participates in that. They work very, very hard putting on a great show over there. And thank you all for letting me come there every year and just do palm readings over there. They also will be doing a Christmas haunt coming up the 13th, 14th, and 15th of December. They're taking a little break themselves for November so they can recuperate after the busy October season. And then 13th, 14th, 15th of December, they will be doing a Christmas haunt. I'm not sure exactly what they're titling it or what their theme is for that one. But it's pretty fun. I did that last year with them, too, and I'll be back there again this year doing palm readings there inside the building somewhere with that. Not the usual just ho-ho-ho, jingle bell type stuff. Something a little different. I was really surprised last year to see how many kids actually come in, because I know a lot of children are kind of afraid of Santa to begin with. And here you're seeing kind of these mean type characters in it, but it's all in fun. But nonetheless, a lot of children did show up for it. So it is a family-oriented thing, so you can bring anyone to it. So that would be 13th, 14th, 15th with Midnight Terror. Oh, geez, who else do we have to plug? I don't really know who else has something going on for December. Graveside Paranormal, I think they're kind of done for this season, for the Halloween season. I really don't know. Keep your eyes open. If you're looking for paranormal things to do, there's always something going on. Someone somewhere is always doing a talk or a lecture somewhere. There's always a tour running around somewhere for the winter months. So, only thing winter tours I don't like doing because the weather's just so unpredictable. You plan the tour and then you get a really bad day and that kind of ruins it, especially if your tour is a lot outdoors. So, kind of with that. Okay, that's what we've got going on with that. I just want to introduce my guest for this evening, Mr. Andrew Martingello. A wonderful man. I met him at Midnight Terror. when I'm there doing palm readings, that I always would get there early. I'd come an hour, sometimes 2 hours early, just to talk with people and go and look at their makeup room and fascinating stuff and see how they do stuff and all that. They're just really a fascinating process. And Mr. Martingello and I would just sit and we talk, and I just thought he was just the most fascinating person to talk with. So I invited him to be a guest on this show. So welcome, Andrew.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh, no, thank you for coming on. Yeah, very nice of you to do that. I know it's not the best of nights to be traveling because we got all that snow and ice out there, but thank you very much.
Sets the mood, I think.
Yeah. Mr. Martingello is a minister. Now, you're an ordained minister?
I am, yes.
You're an ordained minister
Yes,
to
sir.
what church? Or
To the Universal Church, which is just universalchurch.com.
Okay,
that's how I got
so
it.
like a non-denominational.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but he's an ordained minister, so he can do marriages and do services and things. He is also a makeup artist.
I am, yeah.
He's a mask designer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff, and he also works for a company called, there it is, Lost Souls Bus Tours. Do they have anything going for December?
They do, actually. They are going to be doing a show, I believe, December 13th and 14th. You can get more information at lostsouls.com. Right now, things are still kind of up in the air. I'm not sure how many buses we're going to have, but I know that there are still tickets available for that. So please check it out. It's a really good time. I will be hosting one of the nights on the bus. And then the other nights, I will be at Midnight Terror Haunted House.
Ah, okay, great. So I'll see you there again, too. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Andrew does a lot of interesting characters. They kind of give him carte blanche. He does sort of what he would like to do. Usually the way they work, now I'm not real familiar with the way they run the haunted house, to be honest with you, because I see everything behind the scenes, and then I'm sitting up on my table doing palm readings over there, and then they're all putting on the show inside me. So I guess they all have certain characters that they play, and some of them interchange, but some of them kind of specialize, and they do like one character in the haunted house, and that's what they do. But Andrew kind of does whatever he feels like doing, and you're sort of like the... well, I don't know what you are, like the warm-up guy or whatever. You don't really have a part in the house that I could see anyway with you. You're kind of outside and you're on the buses and different things you do and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do line entertainment, but I also enjoy going inside the house as well. I kind of have a routine where I will entertain the crowd outside, and once I get everybody in the line, then I like to go inside the house and I like to play around until I start not recognizing people again. And then that means it's my time to go back out there because I don't really want to bother them too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to...
You move on to the crowd, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, a little bit, and that's it, yeah.
Got to stay interesting.
Yeah, a little bit, it's kind of fun. After that, it might be a little annoying, so yeah.
Right.
You kind of know. You've been doing it for a while, so you kind of know when the time is right
yes, sir.
to
This will be
move on.
my 20th season, actually.
20 years you've
Yes,
been doing
sir.
this. You've been doing haunted houses like this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Goodness, you must have started when you were 5 years old.
I was 11 or 12. 12,
Really?
I'd say, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the year before I actually started in a professional haunted house, I worked at a carnival for a night because the haunted house that they had there was so bad. I remember I spent all my tickets on this haunted house, and I walked through,
And you were disappointed.
and it was a dark room with some dental floss hanging from the ceiling to touch your face. No music, no lights. I could actually see the silhouette of the door that I just walked through a dark room and walked out. And I remember being so mad that I went up and I tried to get my tickets back, and the guy wouldn't give it to me. And I complained, and he said, well, if you don't like it, why don't you come back tomorrow and scare in here?
So you did.
So I did out of spite, yeah.
Good. Hopefully he paid you to do it, too.
He gave me my tickets back, I think. I want to say. So
That's funny, yeah.
but it
But that's how these things all started. These haunted houses, they were just like, people started doing it like in an empty church.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the Halloween season. You were doing them in basements, in garages. Carnivals always had one of the little mobile type haunted house things, which were really nothing too much.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the better state fairs I can remember years back had some nicer ones. They were a little nicer, but now they become really a big thing. Special effects and makeup and everything. And every year you have to do something. You have to top yourself each year, and come something different. Yeah,
absolutely. There's a huge saturation in the industry now. When I first started, there was
nobody was doing it. Yeah,
there was maybe 3 or 4 haunted houses in a 20-mile radius, and now there's a haunted house in every other town. It seems like.
Yep,
But,
so true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good. Good. Competition is good still.
It's good. Just like same thing I'm seeing in the paranormal too. In the paranormal field, for a long time, you had a couple of groups. You didn't have a lot of them, and then of course years back, you really didn't know how many were out there because we didn't have the internet, we didn't have ways of connecting with people, and that you didn't know how many were out there. But now, boy, you don't have far to go.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing supernatural tours. Everybody's doing paranormal investigations. There's a lot of it out there, really a lot. So there again, it's very saturated with it. But I think there's room for everybody. There really is.
Absolutely.
I think there's room enough for everybody. So don't get too overly aggressive and overly competitive with this. There's plenty of room out there for everyone.
Oh, absolutely. The one thing that I really like about a lot of the haunted houses in this general area is we all kind of have the mentality that, we're all here for the same reason. We're all here to entertain people.
It's entertainment. It's fun. You enjoy it. Yeah.
We're all one family with a lot of different places, a
Yeah.
lot of different haunted houses. So
that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a haunted house family type thing. Yeah, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's nice. Because I noticed that a lot of other people from the other haunts visit this one, and they go and visit the other one, and they're all kind of, I don't know if they're all just visiting out of the sake and saying, oh, yeah, you did a great job, or if they're looking for ideas, too, which who knows?
I'm sure
who knows what they're doing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now, in addition to your being an ordained minister, which you are,
yes, sir.
You also are an actor in the haunted house. Like you just said, for 20 years, you've been doing this every October.
Yes, sir.
You're also a makeup artist.
I am, yeah. I've been doing that now for about 10 years, I'd say, at least. Maybe even more than that, if I can remember right. I started doing makeup at Dream Reapers Haunted House, which was in Melrose Park. It's no longer around, unfortunately, but I was there from 2001 to 2012. And, without that haunted house particularly, I probably wouldn't be continuing to pursue my, artistic career.
Yeah, some years ago, we were talking about that before we did the show. Andrew and I were talking about that, about Dream Reapers. I says, I remember them. I says, I had them come on the radio. I wasn't even doing the show here yet in the Windy City Network. I was doing it at WARG Radio. And they came on, and they were on with John Schenkel from Twisted Intentions Productions. And I remember they had a bad year that year. They had something happen, kind of horrible to them, where they lost a lot of money. And they were doing a Christmas haunt to try to help recoup the money. And I thought that would be I thought that was so interesting that someone would do this like for December. That's why I had them come on the radio and talk about it. And then, of course, we put in a little plug for them to hopefully help them, people heard that, and then hopefully went and visited Dream Reapers. And that was the first time I ever saw anyone do a Christmas haunt. Now they're all doing it again.
Yeah, it's
all the
very
haunt houses are doing
thing.
haunts for Christmas, so, yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah, yeah. So, makeup artist, minister, and mask designer. You even design these masks.
I do,
that.
Yeah. I'm going to be making a few new things coming up very shortly. This is kind of what I do in the winter time. Me and my best friend and partner in our mask company, Peter Hudgens, this is kind of our R&R time where we, kind of reset.
Time for regrouping and get going and new ideas and stuff and that.
So I just
now, from start to finish, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just going to say, I just moved into a new place, so I'm setting up my shop. That's pretty much what I've been doing, since Midnight Terror has ended.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of what I've been focused on, is getting my shop up and running and getting some designs out and starting to get some clay out. And
now, how long does it take you, like from start to finish, to develop a new mask or a new idea like this? So you have it ready, like for the next Halloween season. You can promote it. You can sell it to. I'm guessing you sell this to Together Haunted Houses. That's the idea.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do a lot of the horror conventions and we do a lot of the haunted house conventions. And my partner Peter, he dominantly does a lot of the sculpting. He's a very, very artistic and very talented individual. I'm very lucky to be partnered up with him because we work so well together. I help come up with a lot of the concepts and the designs, and we kind of.
It's a team effort. Yeah,
absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. But I definitely have to give him a lot of credit. He is a very good sculptor, in my opinion, and a very talented person.
So like I said, from idea, okay, I've got this idea for a certain character. We want to develop this. From start to finish, boom. What's it take you? I suppose it varies.
It really depends on why I'm doing it. If I'm doing it for a client, and there's a deadline, then we'll get on it as soon as possible.
Also, someone will give you like a special request and say we'd like a certain thing that looks this way.
Absolutely.
They have an idea, and then you'll submit sketches to them or whatever, and say, okay, this is what I've came up with. Do you like this? And you sort of have a meeting of the minds, then you develop it.
Right. If it's for a personal project, then that could take years sometimes.
Oh my.
Just because first off, we try to prioritize with what's important. And a lot of times it's trying to fill orders for other people than personal interests. But we're always thinking about it, constantly. So it's really hard to gauge.
Creative juices are always flowing. Good for
Absolutely.
you. Good.
We're always brainstorming.
Now, if someone is interested in what you're doing and they're interested maybe in you designing something from it or looking at some designs you have, how can they get a hold of you? Not Lost Souls. That's your bus tours.
No, our company is called Dark Hand Designs. And
Dark Hand.
Dark Hand. Yes, sir.
Dark H-A-N-D. Dark D-A-R-K H-A-N-D.
Correct.
Designs.
Yeah, it's kind of our little tribute to the monkey paw gaff.
Oh, geez, yeah, okay.
We're very big fans of sideshow history and
Oh,
gaffs.
yeah, freak shows and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember those from the old days at Riverview. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, our logo is actually a monkey paw.
Okay.
Which is.
What was the thing with the monkey? I remember something about the monkey's paw. What was it up with the monkey's paw?
So there was an old folklore story, I believe, that it was about a gentleman or someone getting a monkey paw that was supposed to grant them wishes, and every single time you'd ask for a wish, the paw would, move or something of that nature. And,
yes, I can't remember the whole thing myself. It's been many years, but I remember something
and
with
you
the
would get
monkey's
your
paw.
wish, but not in the way that you necessarily expect it. So
okay.
there was always, a trick to it.
Okay, so your Dark Hand Designs, do you have a phone number?
We do not right now, but you can get a hold of us through Facebook.
Okay, so Facebook, Dark Hand Designs.
/Dark Hand Designs, or you can get a hold of us on our social media accounts of Instagram.
Okay.
Mine is Ozo the Clown. That's Ozo.
Ozo?
It's like Bozo, but
Minus the B.
Minus the B, because I'm very clever. So.
And very original.
And then
do you have an Ookie the Clown? Drop the C
I
for
do
Cookie?
not. That's a good idea, though.
See?
Maybe I should have named my newer clown Ookie instead.
Ookie, just like Bozo had his sidekick Cookie.
Yeah.
Just drop the C so you have Ookie. Ozo and Ookie.
Yes, sir. I'm a pretty big circus history fan as well.
Oh,
so.
Circus people are very superstitious.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Extremely
absolutely.
Superstitious circus. Yeah, very, very much so.
My
friend
the elephant isn't doing too good tonight, so we're not going to have a good show, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know some of that stuff, yeah. Yeah, I love to. Whenever the circus comes to town, like, of course, now we don't have, the big circuses anymore. They're kind of gone passé.
Yeah,
but we still have, like, Carson and Barnes, and there's another, I forget the other little traveling circus. There's a few of them around. They put on pretty good shows, too, in that. And they do travel with a small menagerie, and they travel with a veterinarian, too, incidentally, to take care of the animals.
Oh, that's good.
And, I always like to get there early and talk with them, and then they all have superstitious about that. Yeah, about the elephants, and they say a day where the animals aren't behaving quite right is not going to be a good show day, or they won't have a good crowd, and they always come in and go out the same entrance to the tent. You never switch your way in and out, and certain costuming, and a lot of different things with circuses and all that. Many, many years ago, Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey used to winter quarter their circus in Baraboo, Wisconsin, for the winter months. And then when spring and summer, they'd be on the road and traveling the country, touring, with the circus. But for winter months, for whatever reason, Baraboo, Wisconsin, I would have thought they would have wanted something maybe warmer like Florida or something, but they would quarter for the winter in Baraboo. And they had a huge estate there on the lake. And the Ringlings had, back in the 1920s or 30s, just a very small fire on their estate, their huge mansion that they had there. A little fire in the kitchen, nothing really even significant. Superstitious as circus people were, they left everything. They left the house, clothes in the dressers, left the cars in the garage, everything, went and built a whole new house, bought all new things and put it there, and just left everything shut up, and that was it. The superstitious note was bad luck.
Wow.
So very, very superstitious people. Richard Crowe, my old friend, if you remember Richard Crowe from the Supernatural in Chicago, kind of pioneered ghost hunting in the Chicago area, used to say that there were no more superstitious people on the earth than the Chinese, the Italians, and circus people. And I agree. Yeah. Well,
that's pretty funny. I'm both Chinese and Italian.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that too. Yeah, Chinese Italian. So obviously, Dad was the Italian because you've got the Martingello, the Italian last name, and Mom was the Chinese. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever bother speaking Chinese or speaking Italian?
When I was really young, I remember understanding some of my great aunts and my grandmothers and things like that when they would speak in Chinese, but I couldn't tell you now. And then my grandfather used to speak Italian every once in a while, and I picked up some things from them, but since then that's also unfortunately lost.
Yep, but I know exactly what you mean.
They're both very interesting and beautiful languages, though.
Yeah, Chinese is a very tonal language, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's very tonal. My mom my mother and father were both born here, but the grandparents came from the old country. So one side of the family was from Italy, one side from Poland, from Eastern Europe. And my father spoke Polish, and same thing. When he was with the cousins and that, he would speak Polish, and after a while I could understand what they're saying. And then my mom would speak Italian with some of the aunts, and that, they would speak it. And whenever you're around, you're a kid, and they don't want you to know something. They start talking, and after a while I can know what they're talking about. I say, you might as well just speak English, Ma. I know what you're saying anyway, But same thing, now they're all gone. Everybody's gone. No one uses it anymore, so I've lost it, Yeah, I couldn't understand any of it. But I really do wish I would have taken the time to learn it, yeah.
Well, it's never too late, Bob.
No, it's not. No, I agree, not at all.
Especially now, technology, it makes it so much easier to learn another language.
I agree. Spanish should be really big right now since we have such a very, very high Hispanic population.
Yeah.
And if you can understand Italian, you can understand Spanish.
Right, yeah. My grandfather actually used to have conversations with our neighbor who was Hispanic. And
They understand each other perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, the two languages are very close. My goodness. Okay, well, let's get back to you.
Sure.
So, Dark Hand Designs, Facebook, Ozo the Clown, that's you. If
And
they're
then,
interested in you.
and then my partner, his handle for Instagram is Carnal Barker.
Carnal, C-A-R-N-A-L?
Yes, sir. And
Carnal.
that's both of our characters that we do for the haunted house. Those are kind of our main mascot characters to represent ourselves. We also sell our art and our masks and stuff as these characters.
Okay.
So if you ever come to a convention and you see two clowns sitting around with a bunch of masks, that's most likely us.
Hi, Andrew. Yeah. There he is sitting there, yeah. We're going to have to get you hooked up with the Bridgeview Paranormal Convention this year.
Oh, yeah.
Because last year, it was the first time they did it. Kylie O'Connell over there at the Bridgeview Park District. Excuse me while I catch my breath here. I just got a little bit of a cold. That if I nothing serious. But she did a fantastic job, Miss Kylie O'Connell over there, running the Unknown World of the Paranormal this year for the Bridgeview Park District. They did it for the one day on a Saturday, and a huge event. It was a big turnout, so we're going to have to get you hooked up with them.
Oh, yeah,
when you
please.
come and do a table there this year, when they do it, I'll let you know when they're
that'd
doing
be
it and
great.
that, and you get there and get the word out about yourself, because a lot of people, if it's anything like it was last year, for them doing it the first year and it was a big turnout, this year I got a feeling when they do it next year, is going to be phenomenal. So
I'd really appreciate that.
so that'll
Thank
certainly
you.
be a way for you to get the word out about yourself and possibly get some new clients and things too. So yeah,
That would be great.
so that'll be good. So we'll hook you up, Andrew.
You know, the haunted house community and the Halloween community and the paranormal community are so close and
Oh,
niche,
yeah.
you know. That
Yeah.
I think that would be a
Well, that's what I do.
really
I bounce
fun
between the three of
experience.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really do the now. Only one time was ever made up for one of the characters in the haunted house. They actually did a little promo movie, and so they had me made up for the character for that, and they filmed it. But I never saw a print of the film. I wished I would have, because the makeup was just phenomenal.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't believe how involved it was
There's a
doing the
f-
makeup for that.
There's a few films that I've gotten to do over the years that I've never seen.
Yeah.
Never,
I know.
never. I don't know if they're out there or if
Somebody's
they never made
somewhere.
it, but
There's somewhere somebody
there's
filmed it. I
footage.
mean, I remember there was people there with cameras filming it. So, but I've never seen it. But I wished I would have gotten a look at it or even had a print of it, because it was just to see the makeup alone. I mean, you know, when they're doing it, of course, you're not really seeing it, and then when it's all finished, I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, I scared myself. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you ever want to see that film, just go into politics, because I'm sure that'll come up as soon as you get some attention.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you go into politics, they know when you were 5 years old and you stole the candy bar out of a Ben Franklin
Yes, sir.
dime store. I shouldn't say, if I say Ben Franklin now, nobody knows what I'm talking about. But if you stole it from I'll just say if you stole the candy bar from a dollar store,
Yeah.
they'll know about it. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be very careful with everything that you do when you run for politics, because they really go back in your past
Oh,
and
yeah.
look around. Yeah. My past would be very boring. They look at my past, they'd say, nothing there to see. They'd be bored with mine. Just like my biography, no one would want to read it. Yeah.
I don't know. I probably would read that.
We all have things. Sometimes you do have more things in your life, more interesting things than you think you do.
Absolutely.
Everybody has stories to tell. I've done that with people for this show. There have been people that I've talked with, and I've sat and just did like off-the-cuff interviews, just conversing, like I've done with you.
Yeah.
We'd sit on a chair in Midnight Terror, and we're just sitting at the table, and we talk, and I say, my God in heavens, this is such an interesting person. I say, would you be willing to do a radio show? Oh, no, I don't have anything to talk about. But for the last hour, we just sat there and talked about the most interesting stories.
That's how
and
I
they, oh, no,
felt,
I don't
too.
have anything to talk about,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, fascinating. So you're involved in all this stuff here.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So 3-4 different things you do here. Did we miss anything else?
Not really. That's pretty much my entire life on a sheet of paper right there. Huge.
Okay, as far as being a minister,
Yes, sir.
do you actively...
Not really.
No, you really don't know.
No, that is something that I would like to do a little bit more of, though.
Like maybe eventually become a pastor, get a church, that type of thing like that you'd like to do? Or
No,
No?
I don't need to do anything like that. I like the idea of being able to do services for people, as in like marriage services or funeral services or things like that. I don't really need a podium. I think not saying that I wouldn't enjoy it, but that's just not where my heart is, I don't think.
I get you.
necessarily.
So you wouldn't like the regularity of it, like having, a regular
Correct.
church and every week doing a service and doing, coming up
Yeah.
with a sermon and that type of thing like that.
Yeah, and I grew up in a Catholic household.
Mhm.
My grandmother was a secretary for a church my entire life.
Mhm.
So, I have a lot of really good experiences with the religious community. But for me, it's more I got that.
You don't like you like the idea of being part of it, but not the idea of like an organized religion,
Right,
type thing.
exactly.
Okay, I can understand that. Sure,
absolutely.
yeah. Just in case someone might want to get a hold of you if they're listening to this broadcast, say, "Hey, he sounds kind of nice. We'd like to have him do a ceremony for us. We'd like to have him do something for us." How would they get a hold of you to do that? Same thing on Facebook.
Well, yeah, you can reach me on Facebook at just my regular name, Andrew Martingello, or you can email me at andrewmartingello@gmail.com.
Okay.
That's my less.
Andrew Martingello.
It's my alternative.
That's
professional.
and when you say Jello, it's MARTING.
Yes, sir.
ELLO, not like Jello, JELLO.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's MARTINGELLO, Martingello, Andrew Martingello. So there you go. If you're interested in getting a hold of Mr. Martingello for any of the things he does here, boom, there's a place to do it.
You know, I could do it all. I could paint you up like a scary clown and then wedge you.
And then marry you and take you on a bus tour and
There
then
you
go
go.
and
You know?
design masks for you for wedding presents and just all sorts of
I should really start a package deal, you know.
You know, there are people that like these kind of weddings. They do like this stuff like that. It might be something for you to go into.
Yeah.
There have been cases where people say, we want to be married in a cemetery. And they go in to get permission. They're married in a cemetery and they dress up like vampires and all this wonderful stuff and everything. And they do this. And, you know,
Yes, sir.
everybody to their own, you know.
Yeah, the first and only time that I've wed somebody was actually they wanted to do it in a cemetery as well. So that's where
okay.
we performed it.
How many years ago was that?
That was actually less than a year ago.
Oh,
so
hopefully the marriage is still lasting.
Yeah, it's so far. They're
Good, good.
living together. They seem very happy. So I'm
good.
very happy for them.
And it's a legal and binding marriage.
Yes,
they're
sir.
married, yeah.
Yes, sir. But I have been ordained since 2014. I just haven't had the opportunity up until recently to do it. And
You know,
actually,
since you never actively, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
go
cut
ahead.
you. But since you actively didn't seek a church and that kind of thing like that, you didn't, I don't know what was your reason for going into the ministry. You know, most people say they got a calling. Most people say, yes, I was called by God. You know, the Spirit led me. Some little inner voice told me, yes, I should go into a ministry. I don't know if such was the case with you.
you know, there's a few different reasons I went into it. Dominantly, I am very much supportive of the LGBTQ community.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I know there's not a lot of, well, now there is, but at the time there really wasn't as many people that were willing to do that, it seems
True.
like. So that was something that I was kind of interested in.
So you more reached out to the gay and lesbian community and reached out to them with a ministry and that. Oh, good.
Yeah, and just like unconventional marriages in general. You
Good,
know,
okay.
I guess you can say if that is unconventional. Eventually it won't be, so.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it's too. I think we were just talking about that a little earlier, too, before we did the show. How, like, some states, I'm not exactly sure how this is going, so I don't want to say anything that would be incorrect across the airwaves. But I'm not sure if it's across the board now in all 50 states where gay and lesbian marriages are recognized, or if just certain states, if the law varies state to state. But then I'm not exactly sure how that all works, too. So say you're married in Illinois, and Illinois has legal gay marriages, but then you move to Iowa, and Iowa doesn't recognize it. And then, you know, I'm just using these examples. I don't know who does and who doesn't. But are you then not married in Iowa and you are married in Illinois, or I don't know how it works. I don't know. I think they should just do it straight across the board in all the states. It's legal, and that's the end of that.
Absolutely.
But so that's good. So that kind of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what got me into it.
And
also.
then you did another interesting thing that you did too. Something else you were telling me that you did. You worked with the was it the hairstyling you did for kids?
I did, yeah.
You have a lot of strange things you do. I don't know how you fall into these things.
That is definitely probably one of my strangest jobs, working at a salon that dealt with lice removal for children. I mean, we would do adults as well, but dominantly children are the ones that carry lice.
Now, how many people do you know that worked in a salon that dealt with children that had lice in their hair? Now, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, well, you know what's really funny about that is my best friend, my oldest friend too, got me the job there, and he was surprisingly the first person to also give me lice when we were little kids.
Oh, jeez.
So it kind of went full circle, you know. So,
He gave you a lice, then he wants to work in the place,
he gave me
and
a
then
job.
he gives you the job working there.
So
Jeez. Now, when you're working with this, now I imagine you're seeing a lot of kids on a daily basis with this.
Yeah,
How
we
do
would
you?
do school
What kind of
checks.
precautions do you take for yourself? You know, because I'm looking at you, and you've got a beard,
yeah.
and mustache, and everything in that.
Well,
and hair is rather long. You keep it. You're very nicely groomed, I must say. It's not like scraggly looking and all that. But nonetheless, how do you take care of that so you don't end up getting picking something up from one of your clients?
Yeah, we wear medical scrubs. I wear, my hair is completely covered on the top of my head. You can't actually get lice in your beard.
You can't.
No,
Oh.
you can get body lice in your beard, but we actually didn't deal with that. We just dealt with head lice.
Oh my!
And the reason being is
I didn't know there were two
because-
different types.
Oh yeah, yeah. The head lice is they're very attracted to the top of the scalp because that's where the closest area for blood flow is, and that's how they oxygenate their bodies.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a pretty gross job, but surprisingly, it was actually a really cool job too. It was out in Lincoln Park, and it's a really beautiful community over there anyway.
Yeah, it's a nice area. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
I would think in Lincoln Park, though, it's kind of like an affluent area that this type of thing. But I guess it's everywhere.
It's definitely everywhere.
Not that lice are more predominant in poorer areas, but it just seems like to me the hygiene standards might be better there. But I guess
yeah, that's a
maybe
that's
I'm wrong about
common,
this too. Just an assumption, and maybe I shouldn't assume those things. But
it is a pretty common assumption.
Yeah.
I mean, even me before I went into there, I thought like, like you get lice, from not keeping your a hygienic routine or something like that.
I think that's most people's concept of it.
That's really not what it is. Lice is still in many ways a pretty big mystery, but we do know that it's all just head-to-head contact.
No pun intended.
Yeah. But I went to a lot of different schools. I did a lot of checks, and surprisingly I really like kids, so it really wasn't too bad of a job for me. It's sometimes it's their parents that you gotta deal with that are more of a headache.
Isn't that always the case? Yeah.
So
Yeah, children are innocent and they're easy to deal with.
And they're honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, very much so. Yeah. Yeah. If you're looking for honesty, go to the kids. They'll tell you right out. They'll tell you just what they think. Yeah.
But
Yeah. They're not corrupted. They'll give you the honest opinion. Yeah. Yeah. I've always liked that too.
yeah. So I was there for about three and a half years on and off.
Okay.
And my buddy's still doing it. He's actually, I think he's running the place now. So good for him.
Then, always know if you need extra work, you can always go back to doing that. So.
I'm pretty fortunate in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You always know you're getting a job somewhere. Yeah. Wow. Good for you. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, how many people do you know that are ordained as a minister, are a makeup artist? They design masks and have a design company that does that. They also work for a company that, I've never known anybody in my life that worked for a company, a salon that, treated children for head lice.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing until I got the job, so, I learned a lot from that job, though.
Now, you didn't actively seek that. You sort of stumbled into it, right? The friend suggested, hey, why don't you come work for me? So you said, okay, fine, what the heck, I'll try it. I've got nothing going on this week, Thursday, so I'll go give it a shot.
Yeah, I was, I was doing my art thing, and it wasn't doing too good at the time. There's definitely seasons that are a little more lucrative, and then there's some deader seasons. So he offered me a job there, and I surprisingly kind of took an interest in it, and really enjoyed it for a long time. I enjoy the commute downtown, and just the whole experience.
See, I'm just not a downtown. I like going downtown for the joy of going downtown, but for me to have to hop a bus and make the commute, or the train and make the commute every day downtown to do that would be a big chore for me.
It was a chore, absolutely.
Yeah,
but
that I wouldn't like. Yeah.
I guess I learned to enjoy it. I didn't really have a choice, so kind of that if you can't beat them, join them mentality.
Yeah, I was going to say, you seem like you're a very adaptable person. Like you adapt to things very easily, and you kind of keep no mind about stuff. So
I try.
Good for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so you've got the Lost Souls tour thing coming up. That'll be coming up on...
I believe it's December 13th and 14th.
14th. You're working on some new masks now and the new things for the new Halloween season coming up like that.
Yeah, we're trying to expand a little bit, too. We're trying to get more into props and things like that as well.
I would think that maybe, what might be... Well, see, I'm giving you all these suggestions, but
I'm open to
what do I know about this? I would think that maybe even like a small storefront for you for Halloween might be a good way to go about, too. We have your product displayed there, and you offer it for sale direct to the public. Do it right there. Like every year, you see these Halloween stores, they pop up, that kind of thing that. But yours is more like commercial. You do like more professional masks and
we
type
try,
of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you'll sell them to anybody. If other people came in and wanted them,
absolutely.
We want this for a Halloween party, we're holding. Yeah. Well, why not?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think with the storefront idea, the only problem is once October actually hits, I spread myself so thin already doing, the bus tour and, working multiple haunted houses and,
Yeah, you're all over the place.
Occasionally trying to still fill in orders or whatever, So I think having a storefront that'd be a little too overwhelming for me.
That's possible, yeah.
However, I do believe that we have some of our masks at a place called Scary Perry's, and that's a mask shop. And, he's a River Grove local.
Okay.
That he was just a big Halloween enthusiast his whole life.
So he has like a Halloween store year round.
Yeah.
He has Scary Perry's.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe it's year round.
Okay. All right.
I've only been there once.
Oh, okay.
And,
we'll have to check him out. And you've got some stuff displayed there.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, well, you better find out.
Yeah, I should. My partner actually is the one that knows him, so
Okay,
he
yeah.
kind of worked out that deal.
Yeah, find out about that. Make sure, Scary
Yeah.
Harry's. We'll check it
Yeah.
out. We'll make sure that you got your stuff there, and
It's a really
they
cool.
know they can get it from you. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. It seems like he gets a lot of more unique design masks, not so much just the catalog, same old stuff.
Mhm.
He's a
That's
pretty
another
big.
thing too. Why don't you do? Right now mail order is a big thing too. Catalog sales.
Yeah, well, we have an Etsy, Etsy.com. That's a website where people sell artwork on. So
Okay.
we have one of those.
So they can see your work.
Yeah,
on-
currently I don't have one. It's down for the season but by December it should be back up because
Good,
I also make Halloween themed Christmas ornaments and
Oh,
all sorts
God,
of
you
little
gotta get going
knickknacks
with
and
this.
things like that. Yeah.
Isn't the
Oh,
time
this
now?
is
People are starting to look for this stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is going to be
Get
very
going.
busy.
And then who knows? People may want this stuff for gifts too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very busy month for me.
Yeah,
so
yeah, good for you.
Everyone's very surprised. Once Halloween is over, they're like,
So they think, yep.
you go
mhm.
back into your coffin for a year now.
Yeah,
but
no.
it's-
I always tell people the same thing. I said, yeah, paranormal, all of that. Everybody's a ghost hunter for October.
Yeah.
And then once November hits, ba-boom, it's over. No, it's not. We still do things.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on year-round with the paranormal and with all this stuff. So, yeah, it's becoming a big thing now.
Yeah, every day is. I've been saying every day is Halloween for a long time, and eventually it just started becoming true. So
Yeah, it just kind of becomes a part of you, doesn't
Yeah,
it? It really does,
absolutely.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
it always has been. My mom was always very much into science fiction and horror.
Oh, good,
growing
okay.
up, so I was exposed to a lot of pop culture at a very young age.
Mhm.
And she worked in a record store when I was a kid, so
Oh, okay, cool.
I was very fortunate in a lot of ways to get to see all the good classics and
Yeah, uh-huh.
all the Universals and Hammer films and
Oh,
things
yeah.
of that nature.
You
so
sound like you would have been a video store person, too.
one of my first jobs was actually
Worked in a video store. Oh, yeah.
under
I
the
worked
table.
for about 10 years. I worked for a video store, too, which was great. I always said it was one of the best jobs I ever had.
The same.
Yeah,
I still say that to this day. Best
Yeah.
job I ever had.
Because I was always into the movies and stuff like that. So when I
Yeah.
did this, this is perfect. Because I always loved the movies, as a kid, and still do,
Oh,
and horror films
absolutely.
in particular. I've always loved,
Yeah.
good horror films.
Do you have a favorite?
One favorite horror film? Oh, that would be tough
well,
to
let's
say.
ask Universal. What
Oh,
is your
favorite Universal?
Yeah.
Well, of course, the big three would be the Dracula, the Mummy, the Wolfman, and then the Frankenstein would be the big four, I should say, of them. And I think of those four Universals from the 30s, 40s era, I would probably have to say Dracula, the 1931 Lugosi Dracula.
Oh,
There
absolutely.
have been other good versions too.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the Christopher
Christopher
Lee
Lee
one
is an amazing
was very good. The
performer.
real old 1922 Nosferatu is good.
Yeah,
it's good.
absolutely.
Salem's Lot was good. There have been many good vampire films and
I
Dracula
recently
films.
just watched Nosferatu again around Halloween.
The remake or the old
No, the
1922?
original, yeah, 1922.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah, an
an
interesting
excellent
film. Yeah. hmm
Absolutely. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari as
That's
well.
another one.
That's
Yeah,
one
that's
I
another-
watch year round.
Another interesting silent. Yeah, a lot of good stuff came out of the silent era.
Yes, sir.
Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Lon Chaney films. Lon Chaney Sr. actually was supposed to do the Bela Lugosi part. He was supposed to be Dracula in 1931, but then he died.
Yeah.
He died in 1930. I think he made one or two sound films, and then he died.
Yeah.
And then the part went to Bela Lugosi, who for him, he always said it was sort of a blessing and sort of a curse.
I could see that.
He liked doing the part, and then for a long time, then he sort of absolutely hated it. Later in life, he says, he said he was very sorry he did it because it really typecast him, and he turned down a lot
Right.
of other work. He couldn't get a lot of other work doing it. But then I think towards the end of his life, he kind of came to terms with it and said, it wasn't
Yeah,
so bad for
embraced
me.
it.
I made a living. I raised my family on this, so, it was okay.
And,
Being Dracula
it's
wasn't all that
it's a
bad.
legendary performance.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Not
Mhm.
too many people can just look at you and you sense entire,
Yeah.
a ton of dread, or you can really read his emotional spectrum just in his
Mhm.
eyes alone.
And he sort of set the standard for all the other Draculas, too.
Yeah.
With Dracula being a very elegant vampire and always dressed in evening attire and very, dressed and all this kind of thing and that, and before that, the vampires were sort of, who
Kind of
knows?
ugly.
Yeah, ugly and
Not-
rat-looking like, and,
yeah.
and rodent-looking like Nosferatu looked, And then, of course, later on, they went back to that again, too. I think they did do a remake of Nosferatu.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Sometime in either the 80s or 90s. I forget
Well,
the...
I know they
the year
did
exactly.
a movie called Shadow of the Vampire, and that was based off of the filming of...
Yes, he was. What they actually did is hire a vampire to play the part of the
Right.
vampire, and he winds up killing the whole cast.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
a pretty funny movie. I haven't seen the remake of Nosferatu, though, if it's out there.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it Carrie Ells that was in that film too, in The Shadow of the Vampire?
I believe so, yeah.
I think I don't know if he was the star of it, but I know he had a part in it. and the vampire actually ends up killing the whole cast. And then one time he finally goes, "Will you stop killing people till we finish the film?" You know?
Yeah, pretty clever.
So it was sort of like dark humor.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that film, I think like 3 or 4 days before I went to New Orleans. I saw it like in the winter, like in February, like a couple days just before I went to New Orleans. I saw that movie, Shadow of the Vampire. I thought it was kind of good. I don't know how well it did at the box office, but I thought it was kind of an interesting concept.
It's going to be it's one of those cult classics kind of thing. You know, in time it'll get recognition.
Like Rocky Horror and that type of stuff. Yeah, yeah, interesting. Yeah, that culture has been with us for a long, long time, and I think will continue to be.
I hope so.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Right now, like you say, paranormal is very much hot stuff. People are very into the paranormal right now.
I can
it's
imagine.
A big thing. Yeah, it's really big. You yourself, any paranormal experiences that you have had in life, or no, nothing? That's just not your forte.
You know, I have had strange experiences.
Okay.
You know, some people may categorize that into like a paranormal, experience.
If it's something out of the norm, you know.
Right. Yeah. Myself, I try to think of any other possible outcome first, but I'm not completely
That's
against
exactly
the
what
idea.
you do as a paranormal investigator. Something occurs, you go, you investigate, and you look for a logical explanation for it. When you have no logical reasoning why this is occurring or has been known to occur there, then you say, okay, we've got something we can't explain. It's something of the paranormal.
It's a very interesting community. Actually, it's funny, on my social media, on my Facebook, for example, I get more paranormal investigators and fans of the paranormal than I do haunted house enthusiasts.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah.
So
I'm sure, because like I said, it's very big stuff right now. Yeah.
It is, and a lot of the television shows and things like that, I think, definitely pushed it a lot more into the mainstream.
It helps to enhance it. It does.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time. They say, which shows do you watch? And I said, well, really, I don't watch any of them. I don't have anything against them. I have a very good reason for not watching them. I don't have cable. And 90% of it is all on cable. And like the Ghost Adventurers and all those are cable shows. And I really don't watch them just for that reason. Nothing against them, but I don't. But then, I hear a lot of people, I hear good and bad. One of the chief criticisms seems to be is people say, well, yeah, it's an hour show, and they get all this evidence, they get photos, they get tapes, they get voice recordings, all this in an hour. Well, it's really not that way. If you've ever been on any of these investigations, you know it's not like that.
It's days of them doing that.
Yeah. You go on these investigations, and it's they're overnight investigations. It's hours and hours, and then later on you've got all these tapes and film, and you've got to go back and look at this and see if there's anything in there that pops up on these. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't.
I think my problem with those shows is it's a little too formulaic for me. It always ends with like, well, maybe we got something, maybe we didn't, but next week we're gonna get something.
Yeah. So tune in next week. Yeah.
And
we
they
don't
did
actually
that
have
for
it
20
for sure.
years,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. That's the thing that amazes me too about the paranormal industry, and myself included, is all the years we've been doing this, and yet we don't really have that much really good proof.
Right.
I've had things that have happened to me, stuff I saw and stuff I've experienced, but I don't have proof of it.
Right. Yeah.
I can tell you, I've seen this ghost, or I've seen this apparition, or I had, heard this voice, I felt, something touched me, or all these things, whatever it may be. I could tell you all that, but unless I've got the actual proof that I could say, okay, here I've got the tangible evidence, and this is something I can show to the world, Yeah. So for all these teams and all this that have been doing this for so many years, it surprises me how little evidence is really there.
Right. I mean, I always had the joke that either, ghosts aren't really a thing, or the paranormal community just isn't very good at their job. I don't know, but I say that, of course.
That's an interesting
with a
analogy.
joke.
I think the ghosts are real.
Yeah,
I think they are for sure. I think that because I just had too many things have happened to me that I just can't explain, and you attribute that to something out of the paranormal.
Yeah.
But I believe they're real, but it'd be nice to get there. Eventually, I've said this many times, just about every show I do, any engagement I speak or anything like that, I would say eventually I'd like to see the industry become a credible industry and recognized like parapsychology. I always use the example of chiropractors. I always use that. I say there wasn't all that many years ago they were thought of as quacks. Oh, chiropractors, that's not real medicine. That's just some goose that do massaging and this
snake oil salesman.
Exactly, yeah. And now people say, yes, your doctor will prescribe for you to go see a chiropractor, and they recognize it. And I think eventually the paranormal industry will go into that too. But then the flip side of that, I think what's hindering it is a lot of the phonies and stuff that's out there.
Absolutely.
There's so much fake stuff out there, and there's so much amateur things, going on that I think that's kind of ruining it and hindering it, holding it back.
Absolutely. And there's also a very fine line, I think, between entertainment and that too,
and scientific,
and, so it's it's really hard to pinpoint what's
Yeah,
real.
are you doing it
sometimes.
for the sake of science and learning and advancing the field, or are you doing it for entertainment?
Right, absolutely.
And I think I'm guilty of that too. I think a lot of what I do is done for entertainment, but then on the same time too, I do have this serious side to me that would like to see it recognized
Right,
as something
and-
credible, and
And that doesn't have to be something, completely exclusive of each other either.
No.
Generally, our interests we're entertained by. Even if there's some of the darker interests, or a little more macabre, I guess you can say.
Whatever it is, the point I'm at now in life, for me, whatever I'm doing, if it becomes something that's not fun for me anymore, I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
When I no longer enjoy it, when it becomes a chore for me to do,
I'm right there
I'm
with
done.
you.
That's it.
I
I move on to
completely
something
agree.
else. Then I take up fishing. That's it.
There you go.
Simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I no longer enjoy it, when it becomes a chore for me, and I know I'm bored with it, that's enough. I'm through.
I think that's why I like doing so many different things. Once something gets a little stale, I move
It's
on
nice
to
to have
something
your
else.
hand in different things. It is. It's nice to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's good to. It's good not to throw all your cards into one hat. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, though, because you did ask me if I had any stories. Dream Reaper's Haunted House.
Mm-hmm.
That place, there's a lot of haunted houses that say that they're haunted and things
Mhm.
like that. They're not necessarily lying. Some people really believe it, but I think some people, might just happen to not, it might not just be true, But Dream Reapers, out of any of the haunted houses that I've been to, there have definitely been some very strange things that have happened, especially in the original building that we were at.
What was the original building?
The original building was off of Mannheim Road. It was actually only 2 blocks, I want to say, north of where the building was on Cornell, off of North Avenue. But that.
Is it still there?
It is now. I believe it's a dollar store.
Oh, okay.
But there have been a lot of there was a lot of paranormal activity from a lot of people that have been there and things like that. And
For instance, just heard things, saw things. What?
Well, we've had psychics, mediums there
Mhm.
to try to explain things, and I think we had 2 of them, and they both said very similar stories.
Okay.
There was a chair that we dumpster dove for one of the rooms, and it was like an old Victorian looking chair.
Mhm.
And one of the mediums told us that there was a woman connected to that chair.
Okay.
And she told us that there was also a little boy and a little girl that were grounded in the building, and they couldn't leave. I don't know how much of it is true or not.
Okay,
but
that's one medium. So the other medium came up with the same story.
yes,
Well, then I would kind of take it's a little serious. It's 2 mediums not knowing each other
yeah.
came
I mean,
at
I
different
would,
times and said the same story.
Yeah.
That's something I might take a little more seriously. Yeah.
that's definitely something that I think about sometimes. But I also don't know the details of the situation. There are times where, you can be giving information, to somebody and not even realize it.
Mhm.
And they can subconsciously pick up on that. Intuition, I think, is a very big part of being a medium.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So
One of the things, and I'm not a medium myself, but one of the things I'm picking up with that story that you just said is, well, then is it really the building that's haunted, or is it that object?
right.
Well,
Well,
like you said, you dumpstered the chair, and she said there's a woman connected to that chair. So is it the chair? If that chair was somewhere else, would that same thing happen, or is it
Right.
that environment of that building?
that's a good
Who knows,
question.
yeah. That's why a lot of people I know won't buy antiques, because they say, no, you're bringing something in from dead people,
Mhm.
and
And then they actually had a pretty nasty experience too
Oh.
that they said was connected to a medical bag that we got.
oh,
I think they got that at like a an antique store or a thrift store
shop
or something like
resale
that.
shop or
Because a lot of
something,
the
yeah.
haunted houses.
Yeah, you pick up a lot of props here and there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
So once they got rid of it though, there was no more negative experiences.
So then it
but
was attached to that object. Yeah.
That's
okay.
that's what they say.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's very interesting. I've had a experience one time there where it was the end of the night. I was one of the only people in the building, and I was walking back to my room. I was in a cemetery scene, and I had to get my radio. I forgot it in my room. But to get to the cemetery, you had to go through a clown room.
Mm-hmm.
So I go through the clown room, and there's a door in there, and the door it doesn't have a knob on it, and it's actually there's styrofoam on the siding of it to keep it closed.
Okay.
And I walk past it, and it shoots open. And I was terrified because I didn't realize it until I got closer, but on the inside of it was 2 mannequins of 2 children. And it was a little boy and a little girl, and this was after I knew about, the situation where the median came and things
Okay.
like that. So that kind of, creeped me out a little bit because
Yeah.
I couldn't explain how the door opened because it was one of those doors that you'd have to pull to open, and
Yeah.
it just burst
So
open.
how did it just, was it a wind or something that
Right.
pushed it open on its own? What
Right.
happened? Yeah.
So
That's where the investigating starts.
I
yeah.
would say that's probably one of my biggest experiences
Well,
there.
that's big enough.
And then when I was
Yeah.
a little kid, I thought I saw something in a window.
Ah, okay.
So, and that was on my birthday. I remember that really well, actually.
I would too. If it was on my birthday, you saw something in a window. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're a little connected there too. I think everybody is. I think all people do have some. I think everybody at one point or another has had some experience with the paranormal. Some people are just, they blow it off and say, oh no, just coincidence.
Yeah.
Some people just say, well, whatever, things happen, that's it. And other people kind of pick up on it more and say, yes, there is something more to this, and that's what leads you to maybe investigate it further.
Yeah.
You
I
have
mean,
your own experiences, and that kind of leads you into it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I try to keep an open mind with things.
Mhm.
What I believe and what I know are two different things sometimes, and I'm okay with that. But,
Yeah.
I never want to say that nothing is true for certain, but I definitely have a devil's advocate personality sometimes. And
Oh, yes, I
even
do
with
that too.
myself. So,
Yeah, uh-huh.
Whether I believe.
As of late, it seems to be coming out on me more and more. I never used to be like that, but now I'm just starting to call things and call people out for what they are. If I see something that's not genuine, or I see a person that's not genuine, I just kind of like tell them right out.
Yeah.
You're baloney. Why are you saying this, or why are you doing this?
Right, and there are definitely some people out there where they're obvious phonies where.
And that's the kind of stuff that it's putting this industry back.
Absolutely.
Because what happens is some people get exposed. Some people are so good they go years without ever, nothing, and then some people go their whole life they never, and they're a phony, And then there are other people that are very genuine about it, And then you might have some people that fake it a little bit to just sort of enhance things. But this is the sort of stuff that really sets the whole industry back. And then people look at this and they say, "See, you guys are a bunch of cracks. This is it. Same thing too with creating a haunt. Like you were just talking about a building. You go in and you say, "Oh, the building is haunted," and then they have they rent them out to these investigators for $400 a night or whatever. They go in and then, "Oh yeah, we got this evidence. And they have nothing.
Yeah.
You really have nothing. But they're trying to create something that's not there.
Right.
You're trying to say something's haunted
It's still
where
a
it's not.
service,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if it is a genuine haunt and there is something there, yes, that's fine. But not every old abandoned warehouse or Family Dollar or school or whatever is haunted. Not every place is.
And truthfully, I think one of the things that bothers me sometimes about, paranormal experiences is it really is upsetting to think that someone's mom or someone's grandma is just kind of floating around a hallway in a library or something. That's,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
that's a bummer to me. It
but
just.
why are they there? That's the thing. If there is
Absolutely.
somebody floating, like you say, if there is somebody floating around there, well, number one, it doesn't always have to be because they were murdered there or they hung themselves, they committed suicide there.
Right.
A lot of times it's a pleasant thing. They like the connection with that building. Maybe they worked there, they
Absolutely.
enjoyed it so much, or they lived there, they liked it so much, they don't want to leave there. They like to pop in from time to time and show you what's going on or see what's going on for themselves.
Sounds a little nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, that way. So, yeah, that's the thing with haunts. Not everyone. Oh, and I got you started doing it too. See, yeah,
Yep.
I started doing it, and it's contagious. I hope I didn't give
radio
you the
cough.
cold. I hope I didn't do it through the microphone,
I
like
hope not.
talking, and it went through, and you got it. Through the
I don't know if I could survive
Paranormal.
October. I think I'd be good now. My immune system's still pretty strong.
You guys in the haunted house, when I walked through there, there's like that one long hall that you walk through. That's
yeah.
that very dark hall.
Yes, sir.
To get like from the front, main entrance, like where the bathroom is and the offices and all that up front, to go into like the back to the exit. And that's where all the doors are that go into the different rooms and things like that. So I'd be walking through there, and somebody would pop out. It's pitch black, the mist is coming through for the fog and all that. And I'm walking down, and this horrible-looking thing. Oh, hi, Bob. It's so funny. I wish you had some of that stuff on tape because it's
same.
funny moments. I'd be
yeah.
walking down that hall, the door would open up, somebody would be going out to go to the bathroom or go for a break or something. Oh, hi, Bob. How you doing? This hideous-looking thing.
Yeah, you'll never find another job where you can walk in and there's someone holding a severed arm, but they're also the sweetest person you've ever met.
Yes, they are.
So.
They're very nice people. They
Yeah.
really are. Yeah, that whole haunt. That's why I like doing it. I don't make a lot of money there doing the palm readings. I really don't. I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it because
Absolutely.
number one, I meet nice people such as yourself,
Oh,
and
thank you.
the folks there are very nice. They really are. They're very
Yeah.
they're very nice people. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of
It's a
fun.
great community. You
One
know,
thing I've
it's-
got to say though too that and now this again I may be wrong on, I don't know, but they do. Midnight Terror does pay its actors. A lot of them
Oh,
don't.
yeah,
A lot of the
yeah.
actors volunteer for doing this because they like doing it so much, but they do pay them.
Yeah.
So Justin's very nice about that. They do pay you, and they give you lunch at the end of the thing too. You get
Every
pizza.
night, yeah. And it's good pizza,
It
too.
is, yeah. I
No,
always
Ju-
stick around for
Justin's
the pizza.
great.
Yeah, they are. They're very nice people. They really are. They're very nice to work for. They're very nice people, and they run a very good thing there. And I think that's why they're so successful like that, because I'm a big believer in karma. And I believe when you do good things for the community, you do good things for other people, I think good comes back to you.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why I think they're very successful like they are. So, yeah, continued good luck to them, and good luck to you, sir, with your endeavors here.
Thank you very much.
Dark Hand Designs on Facebook. Look it up.
Yes,
Ozo
sir.
the Clown. The Colonel Barker.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so all these places they can find out about you.
Yep.
And then you can go and just, send a friend request out to to Andrew Martingello.
Please
and
do.
if he likes the way your request looks, he'll answer it, and you can become Facebook friends, and then maybe eventually you'll have a radio show, and you can have Andrew come on your show. And
That sounds like a lot of fun.
and talk
This has
on
been a
there,
really
yeah.
great experience. Thank you for having me, Bob.
I'm glad you came. I knew you would be a
Likewise.
good. When I talked to you, I says this guy's going to be a good guest. I hope you'd like to do radio. So
I
yeah,
appreciate
great.
it.
Yeah. Okay, it's about 8 o'clock. Anything in closing that you want to say that maybe we didn't cover? Any other plugs you want to put in for anything? Oh, your Lost Souls bus tour, which will be coming up in
Yes,
December.
sir.
And then also, too, Midnight Terror will be doing their Christmas haunt the 13th, 14th, and 15th of December.
Yep.
So that'll be coming up in 4 weeks there. So look on the Midnight Terror website for that one. And then Lost Souls, they can find. Do they have a website too? Lost Souls.
Yes, sir. LostSouls.com.
LostSouls.com. Okay, and
Yeah.
that's all their bus tours and all things they've got going on
All
there
the
too.
information is there, and
Good.
and it's a really fun time. You know,
Mhm.
we have you can bring your own alcohol on the bus.
Oh, boy.
But
Where
we
do you-
we feed you too.
Where
There's
do
a
you
lot
catch-
of raffles and
Where
prizes.
do you catch the bus for this tour?
It's always in different locations.
Ah.
Because we always do different haunted houses.
Gotcha.
So just check the website. We
Oh, they
consistently.
pick you up at the haunted house, and you visit how many of them on the tour?
This one will be, I believe, we're doing 2 haunted houses. We're
Oh,
doing Midnight
okay.
Terror and we're doing Massacre Haunted House.
Who?
Massacre Haunted House. That's out in like Oswego area.
Oh, so it's a big drive.
It's a pretty big drive, but
Oh.
there's a lot of entertainment on the bus. There is raffles and prizes that
And you said there's lunch?
Yeah, people.
Lunch
we
is
provide
on the bus, or you stop somewhere? and-
we provide snacks and things like that
Gotcha,
for people.
okay.
And
Right.
the last tour, we actually had Haunted House Chicago was nice enough to throw us a party and provide White Castle sliders for everybody to kind of sober them up in between
I can't
haunted
eat
houses.
those. I can't eat
They're-
White Castles.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
No offense to White Castle, but I don't know. Something about them I eat, and 2 days later I still taste that sandwich
yeah.
in my throat.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, just something about those. I don't know what it
Well,
is.
they really appreciate.
Maybe when
them
you're drinking on
after-
the bus and all this, White Castles taste just great.
I
You know,
think
I don't
that's
know.
that's the
Or
appropriate
they coat
time
your
to have
stomach or
it.
something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lost Souls. It's a really good time. Like I said, there's
Mm-hmm.
everybody walks off the bus happy. We've never had
Yeah,
anyone.
they walk off the
everyone
bus or they
complain.
stagger off the
Yeah.
bus.
Everybody walks home with something too. We get a lot of good sponsors, a lot of
Cool.
good sponsorships.
So there's a lot of prizes and a lot of stuff and
Yeah.
fun stuff on this thing. Geez, I might do this too if I knew it was somewhere close. But
It's
you're
a lot
doing
of
yours the
fun.
same days Midnight Terror is doing theirs, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Oh.
But we will be going to Midnight Terror, so I will see you.
Yeah, that's
when I
right.
get
I'll
off
see you
the
over there.
bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for
Andrew, it
having
was
me.
wonderful. Please, and come back anytime you'd like. You're welcome
Oh,
to
I'd
come
love
back
that.
here anytime you'd like to. So, yeah.
I'll see
also,
you
too,
tomorrow.
anytime you got something. Yeah. Well, tomorrow we won't be doing a show.
No,
You can
no.
come here, but I won't be here. Tomorrow I will be. Where am I going to be tomorrow? I will be. In the morning, I go to Bible study
All
at the
right.
Methodist Church. I do that one in the morning, and then later in the afternoon, I'm meeting with some of the folks over at Bourbon Street about some events. I'm going to talk with them in the afternoon about that. So we'll see how that turns out. Mr. Andrew Martingello, thank you very much. It was a fast hour. That went by quick.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, that went by good. Yeah.
I had a great
Thank
time.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. John, we're ready to sail away. Also, too, folks, thank you so much for listening to the show. Please say a couple of prayers for Mr. John DeVita. Tomorrow he's going in for his surgery, that we hope everything goes well with that, and his speedy recovery with that, and wish him well. And just in case we do not do a December show, every year for December I'd like to tell the story of the Christmas tree ship. But just in case we don't do it for December, everyone have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful, happy holiday season. Just in case we don't, and have a good Thanksgiving, because for Thanksgiving we won't be seeing you. This will be the November show. So in case we don't do the December show, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you all later in January. Okay, John.
You have been listening to Paranormal Radio with Bob Tricek from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. Paranormal Radio was directed by John DeVita, and the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network is Mr. John Chikanda. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Monday, November the 11th, the year 2019. Until next time, be safe and thanks for listening.